On this James the Bike Guy, we're taking a look at the 2020 Specialized Fatboy. We're going to go over some of the features and the design of this newly revised bike for 2020. And then while we're at it, of course, we're going to find out what it weighs. But before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you can see more videos like this into the future. So taking a look at this bike, what we have here is Specialized's own M5 aluminum frame. So the M5 aluminum frame is going to be an internally cable routed frame, and then of course the nice thing is it's going to have some smoothing that's happened to the welds on the frame. Not all of them, down near the threaded bottom bracket you can still see the welds, but every place that it really matters for the aesthetics of the bike, they've done a good job of cleaning it up. The other nice thing on this M5 aluminum frame is, of course, it's going to have a tapered head tube. And the tapered head tube allows a 1 1/8 to 1.5 inch head tube going down to this chisel carbon fork. So it's a carbon fiber fork, which is of course 15 by 150 up front. And the fat carbon fork is going to help smooth out some of the bumps and vibrations and keep this bike nice and light. Now as we go on the M5 aluminum frame, we'll actually see that the rear end of the bike is through axle. So this runs a very nice forged dropout, which is 12 by 197 millimeters, so standard fat biking size, and that's going to allow them to set you up with these beautiful stout hubs that Specialized has. They've been upgraded throughout the years. The early ones used to have a little bit of reliability issues, but the new hubs certainly seem to be better. And they're going to be 32 holes wrapped up to these stout rims. The stout XC80 rim is 76 millimeters of internal width. It's tubeless capable as well as disc specific, so it's going to be a great wheel set for this bike. And that's what really brings us to the newly revised portion of the 2020. So the newly revised one is actually running 27.5 inch wheels. Now we've seen this from a few other brands, most notably Trek with their Farley series, but it's really nice to see that they're bringing the 27.5 wheel size to the Fatboy. Now 27.5 by 3.8, which is the tire size that comes on here, ends up with the same outside diameter as a 26 by 4.5 inch wheel. So I imagine they didn't have to make many changes, if any at all, to be able to run these 27.5 by 3.8, especially considering the chainstay length is still 455 millimeters and the head tube angle remained the same at 71 degrees compared to the 2019 model. Now with these new 27.5 inch wheels, we actually get some really great tires. So Specialized is actually running Maxxis Minion FBR and FBF tires. So the FBR stands for Fat Bike Rear Tire, and it's going to have a real paddle style design, which is great to see on this bike because that's going to help with traction for sure in all kinds of conditions. And then up front, it's going to be running the Minion FBF, which is the Fat Bike front tire, and you can see that it's more directional. It's going to be a greater tire for steering and having some fast rolling capabilities. So that's really awesome to see on the bike that Specialized is jumping out of just their own tires and actually running some Maxxis tires on this bike. Now of course these are 27 by 3.8 with 120 TPI, but they're also tubeless ready, so they'll match up the stout XC80 wheels quite well. Now for a drivetrain, this is getting SRAM's new 12-speed drivetrain for 2020. This is the SRAM SX drivetrain, and of course it's running SRAM's SX Eagle rear derailleur, which is 12-speed with a clutch, and then it's going to be running on a SRAM PG 1210 Eagle 11 to 50 tooth cassette, running through a SRAM 12-speed SX Eagle chain to the SRAM X1 front crankset. The X1 alloy crankset is going to be an Eagle crankset with a direct mount chainring, a 30-tooth chainring, and then it's going to have forged solid crank arms that are running through on a dub spindle with a threaded bottom bracket. For brakes on this bike, it's going to be set up with SRAM's Level T brake. And if you've seen some of my other fat bike videos, I really like these brakes for a fat bike because the beautiful thing with them is they run dot fluid, which allows them to be much more resistant to wintertime cold weather performance. Of course, on the cockpit, you're also going to have the SX trigger shifter, and this is going to run through a stout 31.8 Pro handlebar, aluminum handlebar, and of course, a stout 31.8 stem. On the back, you're going to get Specialized own body geometry bridge saddle, and then that's going to be mounted up on an aluminum 30.9 seat post. Now the beautiful thing with this bike is you can actually run an internally cable routed dropper post on this bike. So should you want to add a dropper post, you can do that and get it to run right up to the handlebar. So now that we've taken a look at the new Fatboy for 2020, let's go ahead and find out what it weighs. So the actual weight of the 2020 Specialized Fatboy is going to come in at 31.26 pounds. Well, thanks for watching this video on the 2020 Specialized Fatboy. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. While you're at it, be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment down in the comment section below with what you think about this Specialized Fatboy.